All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is on chapter 15, the floriculture industry. We're talking about careers in horticulture. So within horticulture, everything's considered like floriculture, landscaping, arboriculture, irrigation, everything. We're going to talk a few slides about the floriculture industry. Categories of employment. You got unskilled labor, skilled labor, middle management, owner-operator, educator, research, and specialist. What's the unskilled laborer?
Guy who's not on the scene.
No experience.
Migrant workers.
No, it doesn't have to be migrant work.
He works the Chinese backhoe.
It's called an temp agency. The guy has no formal training in it. I mean, they're there to operate the shovel. They're there to tote brick. They're there to bring you the plant. They're the guys with absolutely no experience. But there's nothing wrong with being an unskilled laborer. You have to start somewhere. And they're a valuable part of the horticulture business. Skilled laborer. It's going to be your guy that's had some training, maybe a certification, you know, or just experience. He's been working for you for 5 or 6 years. So he's developed all the skills necessary to take a crew out with unskilled laborers and complete a job for you. Middle management. That's something new, right, in horticulture. You know, it hadn't been around forever. But larger companies are starting to develop. I mean, look at True Green, look at Valley Crest, all these big, large landscape companies. They're hiring middle management. They're hiring guys to go out and not actually do work, but supervise. So that's middle management. There's a lot of positions available for companies like that, guys.
Sounds like a pretty cool job. So what I get the call, sir? Supervisor.
Basically supervisors. They'll be looking after so many accounts. They'll have so many crews underneath them. Even in nurseries and greenhouse operations, the big, you know, Metrolina greenhouses, they've got middle management guys that are going out selling, taking care of customers. And they're going to be the ones hiring you guys graduating from a program like this. Owner operators. Some of you guys are going to go and do that. You're going to be the owner, and you're going to wear many different hats in the company. And you have to do that starting off. You wear many different hats in your business. You're the recruiter for new employees. You're the laborer guy going out and doing the work. You're the sales guy giving out estimates. You're the billing guy collecting the money. You have to do everything. I've seen my mom and dad get up at the crack of dawn, work in the fields all day in the business, and they come home, they stay up to 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning doing invoices and estimates. That's the thing about being self-employed. If you don't do the work, you're not going to get paid. And it's still to this day, my dad hates doing invoicing.
Well,
it's just
you get him an accountant.
Doesn't want to pay.
Accountant.
You have to pay the accountant, yeah.
Well, yeah,
some accountants will do your billing and stuff for like a retainer of $4,000 a month.
I was no, my dad takes, and we take our invoices with the general contracting business straight to the.
Yeah, but you're working on like 1 or 2 projects at a time.
Sure.
When you've got multiple sites that you're visiting, and that accountant doesn't know what work we've done. So the thing is, if you're taking the data that you've collected off that job, hey, I sprayed 2 gallons of Roundup. I've had 15-hour man hours on this job for this month. Why not go ahead and do the invoice? Things are getting easier for the owner-operator with cell phones, computer apps, you know, the tablets and stuff like that. You can track things that are going on. GPS on your vehicles, that's the best thing for a maintenance guy, is know where those employees are at all times. Hey, why were you sitting at McDonald's 15 minutes this morning? You should have been cutting grass. Well, I wasn't at McDonald's. Yeah, you were. Here, print this out, show them. Well, boss man, I wanted to stop and get a biscuit. Yeah, you wanted to get a biscuit on my time? No, that's coming off your paycheck. You know, we give a 1-hour lunch break. You can take a break, but you don't stop by a gas station every time going from yard to yard. And that's what guys will do. They will take advantage of you. And then educator, researcher, specialist, those, you know, that's Lisa and me. And that's your guys working for the chemical companies making all the pesticides. Specialists would be your ag extension office guys. Possessions of floriculture, you have growers, wholesale suppliers, flower shops, garden centers, floral design and sales, landscape floriculture specialists, and teacher researcher. What do you think is what's the one that's in demand for floriculture?
Growers.
Hmm?
Oh, yeah, I think growers or wholesale suppliers.
What is there a lack of in the floriculture business?
Teachers and researchers.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was hard. This is Psych Tech is like one of the only schools that offers this program around here.
Well, that's horticulture. We're specifically talking about floriculture.
Oh yeah.
And when you read chapter 15, you'll see that. It's talking about that there is not that many programs for floriculture. You need something off the computer, Miss Swarthout.
Yeah, and can't find it for just the writings on the phone. I'm
Oh.
trying to be inconspicuous and not working, so I should just start singing. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But growers, they're the ones growing the flowers. They're the ones growing the products. Your wholesale suppliers. There's two different types of wholesale suppliers. Are they selling to the growers or are they selling to the garden centers? So there's two different ways you can become a wholesale supplier in the industry. You have your flower shops and garden centers. You know, that goes all the way up to the big box stores, Lowe's, Home Depot. They're going to sell some flowers. Floral design and sales. That is your 1-800-ROSES or 1-800-FLOWERS. Your landscape floriculture specialist. Big, big opportunity for somebody just to specialize in growing annuals and perennials and putting them in for people. Who are they going to put these flowers in? Homeowners? Possibly some homeowners, but the biggest opportunity for this is working for other landscapers. Guys, there's a lot of landscapers out there, a lot of maintenance guys. If you can grow a good annual crop and you supply with petunias in the spring or some other type, then you come back with mums, and then you come back with pansies and the cabbage, you got 3 times that you can visit that client. And look how many clients you can have with as many landscape professionals there are. There's maintenance guys that don't want to do that. They just want to mow. They just want to spread pine needles. But if they know there's somebody they can call, say, hey, I got this homeowner association, they've got X amount of dollars in the budget, they want annuals 3 times a year. Boom. And then teacher researcher. There's not enough people to teach the floriculture. I mean, there's plenty of horticulture instructors, but actually talking about floriculture. You know, to be that PhD at NC State or Clemson, you know, there's just not enough of them. And the book talks about that. Growers. What you need to be a grower. Knowledge of assorted crop plants. So annuals, perennials, whatever type what most interests you. Knowledge of proper production hygiene. You guys will learn that from Lisa. You know, she's good about making sure everything is sterile, everything is safe for those plants, that no disease or insects are going to get in those greenhouses. Knowledge of pest control. You guys that have taken my class, you're considered experts now, right? And the ability to manipulate the environment. That's, you know, a greenhouse is an artificial environment. You guys are creating that perfect environment for the crops. And you're going to become the experts of that. Growers may be owner-operators. Most of them are. The small mom and pop growers. But then you have these big, like Metrolina greenhouses, you know, the big boys. And they're going to employ unskilled laborers. And they can become skilled laborers through experience. Because your skilled laborer is going to be the guys that's managing a production. He's going to be required, he's going to be the one that's responsible for growing X amount of number of perennials, X amount of number of annuals. And he's going to have unskilled laborers working for him. He's going to say, all right, we're going to go out, this is what you're going to do. And he's just going to be kind of overseeing it. But I can't stress enough this right here, unskilled laborers. In a short amount of time, you can train somebody. I'd rather get somebody fresh off the street and knows nothing about horticulture to work for me, and I train him the way I want him to work. A lot easier. I have to spend more time, and it costs me more money up front, but if I'm hiring somebody for the long term, that's how I want it. I don't want guys coming in saying, I know how to do this, I know how to do that, I know how to do that. And you send them out to do it, and then they're calling you, how do you do this? It's going to happen.
Or they try to butt heads with you.
And they try to butt heads with you.
You say, look, I know how to do this, and you want it done this other way.
Yeah. Who's writing the check? The guy that wants it done his way. And we all do that, no matter where we work. You know, we may see ways that, hey, this could be better, but the guy's writing that check, I do what he said. I do it here. Wholesale suppliers, vendors, they're centralized sources for countless items. They're going to be your best friend. They find out you're a grower, man, they're going to call you every day. They're going to send you brochures in the mail. You go to one trade show and you collect all this information, you pass out your business card, they'll find you. And they're going to help you. They can supply growers or the florist. So, if you're supplying growers, you're going to supply just about everything but the plant, because the grower is going to supply the plant. He's going to be the one, the seed and all that starting. He's going to sell them the soil medium, he's going to sell them the pots, he's going to sell them the greenhouse plastic. Anything that's going to take to grow that plant, that supplier will have. If he's a supplier for a florist, he's going to supply ribbons, decorative pots, some Christmas decorations, anything that's going to be sold at like a floral shop. And these suppliers, they're going to employ salespeople and middle management. Another opportunity for you guys. All these big nurseries and stuff, guys, they'll be the ones hired. It may take having to move, Metrolina greenhouses down south of Charlotte, and you got these huge nurseries like down in Georgia and stuff like that. It's places to relocate for good jobs. Educational requirement, college education in horticulture with a business emphasis. That's if you're going to be wholesale supplier. It's just like this. If you guys want to further your education, you know, when you guys leave here with associate degree in horticulture, you guys are educated enough to run your own business or be hired by somebody else. If you're going to start your own business, you need to take some business classes. You guys are the experts in horticulture now, but you see that all the time happen. You see a guy that is knowledgeable in horticulture or landscaping, and he doesn't know enough about business that his business will fail. Now, I don't like seeing that. I mean, you know, it's one thing with the irrigation board. You have to have so many business education hours per year with your CEUs, because like they're saying, the irrigation guys don't know enough about business and how to run their business. They're experts at putting in pipe and turning the water on the plants, but they don't know enough about business.
That goes with any profession.
It goes with any profession. Any profession.
You don't know how to run a business, you don't know how to run a business.
Yep. Flower shops and garden centers. Some individual ownership. You know, your small mom and pop gardens. You know, LA Reynolds. We got Hayden that works there, graduate of our student. Who else is here? I don't see him, but another student of ours is working at LA Reynolds. You know, that's a family-owned garden center. Excellent place to buy materials. Good people, good family there. Then they can also be part of a retail chain. Big example years ago was Sears. They used to have the big garden centers. Then Walmart had big garden centers. Now it's Home Depot and Lowe's pretty much running the show. And then they can have specialized products, floral design, Christmas decor, etc. They shouldn't use that word, Christmas decor. That's a trademark name. I used to own a Christmas decor franchise for 10 years. Well, my parents did. I worked for them, where we installed holiday decorations for residentials and commercial properties. It was a good business, good business. I actually miss doing that. We still actually do it. We had it for 10 years, and then we stopped for 5 years because we had a non-compete, and our 5 years was over as of last year, so we got back into it.
Just like putting up Christmas lights?
Putting up Christmas lights.
Good money.
Big business, big business. First job I ever sold at Christmas was to a doctor. They called, I went out and did the estimate. It's all canned sales pitch. It's a franchise. They teach you how to do it. Went, priced it. The lady was just like, oh my gosh, I got to have it all. You know, because what it is, you price everything you can do for their house. And then it's like a line item check. She's like, I want that, I want that, I want that. I left with a down payment. Well, actually, I'll take that back. I left with the whole check because her husband called me that night and said, "You've got to be kidding me that you're charging my wife that much money for Christmas."
So it was a lot.
The next day when we put it up, he called me back and he said, "Thank you." He said, "That is amazing what you did."
He understood about the price of that.
He understood what? Because we
He didn't complain no more.
he didn't complain.
He's like, I don't want to do that.
He's like, I'm not getting on the roof. I'm not doing this. I can't do that.
He's like, I just thought you were going to run him around the tree or something.
No, it was, you know, lights around the windows, roof line, garland in the windows, trees, branch wrapped, shrubs, canopy wrapped. Yeah, I got a nice portfolio. Nice portfolio. Still got brochures and stuff from it. But
this year?
yeah, we're running it as Carolina Holiday Lighting. But, but I miss being a part of Christmas Decor. I met some really good people. I met some really good contacts. Tony Bass, for one. You know, Bass Custom Landscapes, he sold that out. Now he's running Super Long Trucks. All he does is sell trucks, and he's a business consultant. He's paid big money to go speak at Green Industry Council and all that. You know, he's a suit and tie man. Well, he was a suit and tie man running his business, and that's what you got to be. When somebody calls you for an estimate, you don't go dirty and grunge, even though you've been planting trees and shrubs. Keep a clean shirt in the truck. Keep a clean set of pants.
And shoes.
And shoes. Change. Guys, go with that image of a businessman. People want that.
The worst is walking into a job with mud on your shoes. To look at them and they're like,
Yep.
look what you're...
And it's different if you're working for this client, it's an ongoing thing and they understand. But if you're trying to get new business, you know, my dad, I love him to death. He was guilty of that. You know, he made fun of me for carrying a book bag to work every day. He's like, "What you got in that book bag?" And I'm like, "Well, I've got a notepad. Somebody calls, I've got some blank estimates. And Dad, I've got a polo shirt. It's got your logo on it. Because I'm not going to go in this T-shirt that's got grass stains and dirt and everything like that. I'm going to take that off and I'm going to go."
He's like, why won't you? I've done it for years.
But for this, educational requirements, 2 to 4 year college, full-time or part-time, and you're going to have training in ornamental horticulture and business management. You know,
Just to own a flower shop? Or
no, it's like to work for one of the bigger ones.
I worked for Southern States for 2 years. I mean, that's,
Well, exactly. I think this is stretching the truth a little bit right here. But with this associate degree, somebody like Home Depot or Lowe's,
yeah.
you guys go with that. They're going to put you right as the manager of the garden shop probably right away. And from that point on, you just move up. It's great companies to work for. You know, but you all got to start at the bottom. But going in with an associate degree, they're going to put you in charge of the garden center. You know? And that looks good on the resume for future jobs. Hey, I ran the Home Depot Garden Center on University Parkway for 2 years. You know, people want to see that. And that's, you know, somebody like that, you guys continue your education. They have help with tuition assistance, and you know, they work with you on your hours to make sure you could go to class, stuff like that. Floral design and sales, artistic craft of floriculture profession. Designers usually are also the salespeople. And educational requirement 2 to 4 year college degree, study ornamental horticulture. And there are floral design training schools where you get a certificate rather than a degree. You go probably set for a week in a class. Somebody's teaching you how to put these things together. My cousin, Missy Lineberry, excellent flower arrangement. She actually works for her mother-in-law doing this, but she has turned out some beautiful arrangements. Won all kinds of awards. They do like the state competition and stuff. She's awesome at it. And she did most of her training through these certificates and on-the-job training.
find out about different certificates and, different areas like that? 'Cause that's not offered here, is it?
Mm-mm. I had a student last year. She graduated this past spring, and she has a big business. She does wedding, and she has a greenhouse at her house. And she completed her program here, but when she started building up, and she does a huge amount of weddings, grows the flowers for it, does the centerpieces for it, and she did some type of certificate or 2-day schools and just different things here and there. There is like a floricultural association in North Carolina, and that would be who you'd probably want to check with, and they're probably the ones putting on the schools and certification for it.
Science had something that came out, that would do like certain classes for a certain amount of time.
Oh, for like
Like
2 weeks or
yeah, a few weeks, something.
yeah, they do them for a few.
They did a floral one time that's at a different center.
Probably at Northwest at King, maybe.
I can't remember because I was checking into it before I came into this. It's been over a year.
It's through their workforce development side. It used to be called corporate continuing education,
Yeah.
but now it's workforce development. And they'll sometimes use our classrooms at night.
Oh, okay.
I was looking for a class last night that was supposed to start. I was teaching in 203. I kept just peeking in, but nobody was here, so they probably didn't have enough people. A lot of times with those evening classes, they want 8 minimum, and if they get 1 or 2, they have to cancel it.
The floral arrangement is full.
Was full?
It's
Well, cool.
Well, that
But
was
that-
last year.
that
I
was-
haven't checked on this year.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's big business, good business. Everybody. What better place to work when somebody calling and sending just white roses? Everybody's kind of happy about that stuff. It's good to be in a happy place. Landscape floricultural specialists, corporate clients, developers, municipalities often employ specialized crews. You have a crew leader. His key position is responsible for the following: designing and laying out of beds, preparing contracts, and possibly training crew members. This is like where you work for builders, developers in cities. Maybe you get a contract for a big city. Hey, do all of our annual beds. Then you're working for other landscapers. But your main thing is to go and design the bed, till it up, put the soil amendments in it, and go back and plant 3 times. You got your spring annuals, your mums in the fall, and then you got your winter annuals. It's just like lawn care, guys. It's a repeat business for the same existing customers. It's cheaper and more profitable to keep your existing customers than to keep having to get new customers. So anytime you're going to that property more than one time, that's the only bad thing about landscape installation. You put the plants in, you probably won't work for that client again, unless you have a maintenance side. But if you're strictly install, you're going to install it and you won't see that property again. Unless one of the trees dies or something within that 1-year warranty period. But having repeat business, going back to that same house weekly, whether it's to mow it or you're going back 4 or 5 times a year to apply fertilize, that's what you want to do. But when I was speaking of the Christmas decor, you could take that business model and do it for this right here. Instead of doing it for residentials and commercials putting up Christmas lights, you could advertise to other landscapers and other shopping centers. There's like a big shopping center association where all the shopping centers get together and have meetings and stuff. You can actually join associations like that to promote your business. Send them flyers.
Association for residential.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of working for HOAs in residential. Because when you make one person mad, you lose a whole development full of 50 houses. If I have 500 lawns that I'm cutting and I make one of them mad and I'm down to $4.99, I'm not going to go broke. But I can replace one. You see guys getting all these HOAs and they think, wow, I'm getting $50,000 a year to cut this place. So they go and buy all these new lawnmowers, new trucks. HOAs bid out the work every year.
I know I have a friend that he
And
was
it's-
drunk broke because of it, because like he had all these HOAs and made everybody happy for half of the first year.
But when they bid that stuff out in the HOA contracts, not between the landscapers, but for the homeowner, they can't go up in price. They can only go down. So eventually it's all going to go to zero. Eventually you're going to be paying them to work there. I mean, you really think
And
about
that's
it.
what- that's
Because
what
it gets...
got to him. He was like, I didn't know what I was getting into, and now I'm like wrapped up in $20,000 worth of equipment
And no work.
and it work.
The homeowners associations are good for a lot of things.
Yep.
And that's all he was going to
Will you give us a list of like, you know, different associations would be helpful for us, or? what we
Yeah, and I
can
can
do?
put like that in TechLink. Like go to TechLink and I'll have like create a link to like the Nursery Association or the
Different
Florical.
places.
Yeah. Teacher researcher, ag colleges have difficulty finding floriculture teachers. Teachers need graduate degrees. Most floriculturists with advanced degrees work for the industry because they're probably going to get hired by these labs or nurseries that are developing new things. They're going to get paid big bucks instead of being a teacher.
But is that the A&T online degree that you can take after this? Is that a master's, or does that go on to get your
It's bachelor's.
But you can teach after that, right? Is that what you have to teach?
Yeah, like to be a high school ag teacher. Yeah, that's perfect. Going to A&T and getting that ag education. Yeah, and we've got students that's left here and gone to A&T, and one of them's teaching at Reagan High School now.
But this is online, I think.
It's 100%
right?
online.
Yeah.
100%
You
online.
said that, okay, if you're doing the 2 and 2 here, you can do the next 2 online?
Yeah. From here, when you graduate from here, you go to A&T. It's 100% online.
So I'm not actually going to be at the school.
You won't be on campus. I spent 3 years on A&T campus. That's where I got my undergraduate, landscape architecture from North Carolina A&T. I mean, I lived at home with mom and dad because I was young enough, but I literally lived at A&T. I graduated with 4 other students, and we had sleeping bags. We had a refrigerator and a microwave because we didn't have the time to go home.
I mean, it's a rigorous program. I heard it's quite good. I'm
It
from
is
there.
awesome. That is probably one of the best undergraduate programs in landscape architecture, and it breaks my heart that they don't advertise it. A&T. NC State no longer has a bachelor's in landscape architecture. They're concentrating on master's program. So A&T has the only undergraduate in landscape architecture and one of the best in the country.
They don't have the horticulture program.
They do have ornamental horticulture.
But they're
They call it environmental horticulture.
Okay.
between NC State and A&T, we probably have some of the 2 best agriculture colleges in the nation.
Dr. Glass was the program coordinator for landscape architecture. She retired. Perry Howard is now the program coordinator. John Robinson. They were all 3 of them were my teachers. John and Perry both went to LSU. Then they both went to Harvard School of Design, and they're teaching at A&T. They are, I mean, on one of the best programs. And like I said, it breaks my heart that you don't see commercials saying come to A&T landscape architecture.
Well,
Because I mean, but and they like keeping. I don't know, for some reason they like keeping it small. I mean, because every year they graduate 5 or 6 students, and they'll start out with 20 in the freshman design class, and the students realize, oh my goodness, this is going to be hard. I'm going to live here in this studio.
For 2 years?
I did it in 3 years. I left here with my associate and went and got the bachelor's in 3. Because if you come in with an associate degree in the landscape architecture, they'll combine freshman and sophomore design studio. So that first year, I was just burnt out. I mean, I couldn't even move my arm. I mean, it was like this from drawing so much. And I almost quit twice. And I went and talked to my teachers. And Sue Ann Ware, Dr. Ware, she's teaching now at Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology in Australia. Another great one. Everybody remember Andre Ware, the football player? It's her brother. And I went to her and I said, and she let it, I mean, she's like me. I called her Sue Ann. Like, y'all call me Eric. She wasn't big about being doctorate or anything. She's like, don't quit. This will be worth your while. And when I graduated, she tried to get me to go to the University of Georgia and get my master's. I'm like, no, I am burnt out with school. There's no way. I'm going to work. And I regret that. I regret that. Because she was very influential in my life. I still talk to her through Facebook every once in a blue moon, but she's down in Australia now. So. Opportunities at high school and collegiate levels. Researchers seek means of improving crops and methods of production. So you guys, at A&T with the 2+2 in ag education. I believe the other one's in like ag economics. But with ag education, go straight to high school. Go to a community college. Thing is, with community college, they're going to want you to start working on your master's, teaching at a community college. But, I am working on my master's degree at Clemson right now, 100% online. That's was part of my deal being hired here, that I started working on a master's. So, not much further to go.
About how much longer?
2 years.
Longer?
I could actually do the whole program in 1 year if I wanted to, but I'm not stupid. One class in graduate level is about taking 5 undergraduate. And it's 10 hours of lecture a week, watching videos on the computer, reading 500 pages a week, writing papers, taking quizzes, and it's all online. So you got these deadlines, and you'll see the deadlines. You got to take test number 1 by midnight Friday night. And what are you doing at 11:30 at night? You're trying to finish it. Cool. We are finished with